Hi, third grade. We are back with another science lesson. This science lesson is going to be all about adaptations. For our STEM career connection, we will be learning about an ornithologist. An ornithologist studies birds. They look at the species as a whole and then compare different types of birds to each other. As they study birds, they think about what the birds need to survive and how it has adapted to meet its needs. So, if you like learning about birds, you might want to be an ornithologist. Now, let's begin by learning some important vocabulary for learning about adaptations. The first word that we're going to learn about is the word adaptation. An adaptation is a structure or behavior that helps an organism survive in its environment. Let's take a look at our picture example. This reptile has a hard shell to protect it from other animals and other dangers in its environment. This cactus also has adaptations. It is covered in tiny little needles to protect it from animals eating it. The shell and these spikes are structure adaptations, but there are also behavior adaptations that help an organism survive. For example, a behavior that this reptile has is that it burrows in the ground to live, which helps it escape from the hot desert sun and keeps it safe from predators. This next word is camouflage. Camouflage is an adaptation that allows an organism to blend into its surroundings. Do you notice how this lizard is almost the same color as the ground in its environment? This makes it hard for predators to see the lizard. Over many years, this lizard has adapted to its environment so that it can camouflage and stay safe from predators. This next word is mimicry. Mimicry is another adaptation in which one kind of organism looks like another kind in color and shape. So, unlike camouflage, which helps them blend in with their surroundings, mimicry allows an organism to look like a more dangerous organism to prevent predators from attacking. For example, look at this moth. It is using mimicry to look like an owl. Predators can become confused and think that this is an owl and not attack it. Now that we've looked at some physical adaptations such as camouflage and mimicry, let's take a look at some behavioral adaptations. This next word is migration. Migration means to move from one place to another. Birds are commonly known for migration. When a bird is living in an environment that is getting cold and the days are growing shorter, birds will migrate, move to another place that is much warmer. The reason why they move to another place or migrate is because in warmer areas there is more food, such as plants, insects, and other animals in which they can eat. When you think of winter, do you see leaves on trees? Do you see insects crawling across the ground? Nope, those things are not out in the wintertime. So these animals have to migrate to warmer places where they can find their food source. This last word is hibernation. Hibernation is another behavioral adaptation. Hibernation means to rest or go into deep sleep through the cold. Let's hop on over and watch a brief video about animal adaptations.
What kind of animals can live in the desert? It's a hot, dry place with little rainfall. How about these animals? Let's look at the shark. It's got big teeth. Those are probably helpful in the desert. But it needs to be underwater all the time. Nope, a shark does not belong in the desert. And let's look at the polar bear. A polar bear likes snow and ice. What's his favorite meal? Fish. A polar bear definitely does not live in a desert. Here's a wolf. The wolf lives on dry land, so the desert might be okay. A wolf eats lots of animals, so that's a fit. But that's a very thick fur coat. A wolf would get very, very hot under the desert sun. The wolf is not a desert animal. Now let's look at the rattlesnake. That tough skin is good for traveling over rocks. A rattlesnake does not live in or need to drink much water. To cool off, a rattlesnake can bury itself or curl up in some shade. A rattlesnake is a good desert animal.
In the video, the person was able to determine which animal lived in the desert by looking at their physical and behavioral adaptations. By doing this, she was able to determine that the snake was the best fit for the desert. Let's read these 2 textbook pages to learn a little more about adaptations and behaviors. Adaptations. A frog sees an insect. The frog's long, sticky tongue springs out and catches the insect. The tongue curls back in, and the frog swallows its food whole. The frog's tongue is an example of an adaptation. An adaptation is a structure or behavior that helps an organism survive in its environment. Energy. Every living thing is adapted to get energy. The leaves of an elm tree capture sunlight to make food. Mountain lions have sharp teeth and claws to catch deer and other animals. The flat teeth of horses are perfect for chewing grass. A polar bear has an adaptation called camouflage, which means it blends into its environment. Covered with white fur, the polar bear is hard to see on white snow and ice. That makes it easier for the bear to catch seals for food. Caption. The frog uses its sticky tongue to capture an insect to eat. Safety. Camouflage also helps living things stay safe. A snake's skin pattern may match the ground it lies on, making it hard for a predator to see. A turtle shell is another adaptation for staying safe. When a turtle is in danger, it can pull its head, legs, and tail inside the shell. Plants also have adaptations for staying safe. Holly plants have spines on the edges of their leaves. The spines stop many animals from eating the plant. Protection from the weather. Sea lions and walruses are adapted to living in cold climates. They have a layer of fat called blubber under their skin that helps them stay warm. An Arctic fox grows a thick, white coat when winter is coming. That coat keeps the fox warm even in very cold weather. Some animals are adapted to survive in hot temperatures, such as in a desert. Camels have thick, leathery patches on their knees. The patches protect their legs so they are not burned when the camel kneels. Sidebar. Did you know? A mimic octopus can change its movements and the arrangement of its parts to look like 15 different organisms, including sea snakes, brittle stars, giant crabs, and stingrays. Caption. Because of its camouflage, this snake will be hard for a hawk flying overhead to see. A camel has thick fur on its back that provides shade. Thinner fur on other parts of the body let heat escape. All right, boys and girls, that's our lesson on adaptations. Thanks for watching and learning with me today about all the ways that animals use their physical features and behaviors to survive. Bye for now.